Good afternoon, everyone. Anne from the Easing Spirit here. So, today I want to talk about limiting beliefs, overcoming limiting beliefs that can help you expand on your spiritual journey. Um, Limiting beliefs hinder your spiritual growth because they foster self doubt, fear, um, and a negative mindset. Most of the time, beliefs are ingrained in us because it could be life experiences, it could be the way that we're raised, it could be that we've been raised super religious and we don't understand what it's like to detach ourselves from that and have our own mindset or our own independent growth. But a lot of people will shirk away from a spiritual journey simply because they believe in their mind a limiting belief that they're not a spiritual being, or that change is too difficult to obtain, or that nothing actually matters. I've always had this belief that everything happens for a reason, and all the things that happen in our life are things that are helping us on our journey or trying to get us on the right path in our journey. So everything happens for a reason, and ultimately, everything matters. Everything that you go through builds you to be the person that you are. But those limiting beliefs that you experience can hinder and stunt your growth as a human being and a spiritual human being. Um, and limiting beliefs, like I said just a moment ago, they often will arise from past experiences, negative experiences, societal conditioning. It could be a cognitive bias, lots of different things that you can experience in your life that will limit your beliefs of your abilities, of what you're capable of doing or overcoming in this life. And if you begin to use introspection and looking in yourself and journaling, I know I've brought up journaling lots and lots of times in different discussions that I've had on here, different topics that I've talked about. However, journaling is a huge piece that can actually open up your mind and get you to see the things inside of yourself, even the subconscious things, because as you're writing, those little pieces of information begin to percolate to the surface. And when you're capable of pulling that out and writing it down and making it a reality and looking at it and examining it, then you are more capable of pulling yourself back from that limiting belief that, lots of beliefs that we go through in life. Like me, I dropped out of school when I was 17 years old. And I remember when I was 30, I thought to myself, go get my GED when I'm 30. That's kind of laughable, isn't it? I mean, why would you wait until you're 30 to get your GED? And my husband at the time, he said he wanted to get his GED, and we ended up doing it together. And after I did it, and I actually walked in a cap and gown and everything, because by the time I graduated, I was 31. I was I was like super excited. It actually made me feel really good. And if I hadn't taken that step, and I had kept in my mind that, well, I dropped out of school when I was 17 years old, going back now is a waste of time, then if I had kept that mindset, I actually wouldn't have went back and gotten my GED and tried to better myself. We have to evolve in life if we want to keep moving forward and bettering ourselves and getting better about things. We have to evolve. Another limiting belief could be, right now I'm in the process of going through a divorce, and my life is literally starting over, and I'm 53. And I'm just now doing this. I'm just now embracing starting my own business, being on my spiritual journey. willing to give help, spiritual guidance, different things to people so I can help others in the same way that I was helped through my path. And I also believe that we can absolutely be a work in progress and still be helpful to other people at the same exact time, because we're all evolving and learning in this primordial soup of life, right? Or as one of my great mentors, she always says the tapestry of life, talks about how life is a tapestry and we're all interwoven in this tapestry together. So, starting over now at 53 years old and embracing doing my own business and getting ready to go through a divorce where I'm going to be a single woman again, basing everything on myself and dusting myself off and getting up and moving on. It could be super scary to take those chances. However, when we trust ourselves and we take those chances, we benefit from that. We step out of that limiting belief that we're not able to do that, and I feel like this journey has been such a beautiful experience for me. There are times when, my guides will put something in my face and I'll think, really? Really? Now? Really? And I will also get that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, so the things you're expecting are not going to come. That one's not one of my favorites. But it does happen. It absolutely has happened to me. And when I'm on the correct journey and I'm removing those limiting beliefs within myself and thinking that I can't do certain things for, a certain reasons or whatever. I mean, there's lots of people that in their mind they'll think things like, I have to look out for number one, because if I want to get ahead, it's got to be all about me. Or you can't trust anybody. That's another one, a limiting belief. We get so mistreated sometimes in life by people. But again, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll understand that I've also touched on that treatment that we get from other people are things that we're allowing to happen to us. And so a limiting belief of not being able to trust anybody comes from experience. It comes from, that abuse or situation that came in our past. The limiting belief of I'm too old to go back to school. Like I said, I decided at 31 to get my GED. And then of course, and it's not just me at 53 starting over and starting my business, but two different times between the ages of 31 and 53, I've been to college twice. I was much older than everybody else that I was in school with. I absolutely loved the medical field. And so I took pharmacy technician training. And I've also taken medical coding and billing. I prefer more to be behind the scenes when it comes to that type of stuff. Although in the holistic, I love to be hands on and connection with people. But stopping those beliefs within our mindset and digging down within ourselves and finding out why it is that we believe certain things that hold us back, or why we think that we're not worthy or we're not capable, or nah, that's just not for me. Well, why is it not for you? Why do you think that you don't deserve that? Or why do you think that you can't grow as a person? I've recently taken on reading a couple of books. One of them I'm almost done with, and I absolutely love it. And that's The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And Eckhart Tolle teaches you in that book how to live in the absolute now, right now, not the past. You look at it and we live about 95% of our life. Well, is actually about 90% of our life. About 90% of our life in our past experiences. And then we live probably about 4% in worrying about what's going to happen in the future. What's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next week or next year. And then there's like 1%, 1%, it's so small that we live in now. This actual moment that we're in right now. And embracing that actual moment of right now. And not thinking about the argument that we had yesterday, or the guy that cut us off this morning, or the coffee at the coffee shop that was made wrong, or am I going to have enough on my paycheck next week to pay my rent? But living in the actual now. It's a very beautiful book, and it breaks things down in a way that you just don't. It breaks down your ego and pulls you into being a spiritual being and looking at life from a spiritual perspective. And then the other book that I've recently acquired that I'm super excited about reading is Psycho Cybernetics, and that's by Maxwell Maltz. Maxwell Maltz, I believe, is the author of that book. And that book centers around the mind-body connection. So it teaches you how that mind-body connection works. And that's one that I'm super excited about reading. I feel like if you can get books or learning tools or different things that can open your mind and give you a different perspective on seeing things and looking at things and clearing your lens vision, you will begin to see the world in a different way, and you'll begin to process things in a different way, and your beliefs will change. Those limiting beliefs will begin to fall away one by one as you grow and step forward and come more into the path that you're supposed to be on within yourself. You know, it's important for us to replace a limiting belief and cultivate self-compassion. Know that you can change anything. You can change anything that you want to within your life. You have the power to do that. You have the power to get yourself more education. You have the power to go for that better paying job. You have the power to become an entrepreneur if that's what you want to do. All of the things that you want to do within your life that come up, and you have an idea and this comes in your mind, you think it, and then we push it down because we say, well, I can't because of this, or I can't because of that, or I'm not capable. You have the power to change all things within your life and have your life be on the path and on the healing journey. And it doesn't even have to be spiritual. You don't have to be spiritual to embrace your ability to make changes in your life and change your limiting beliefs. And I've said this in the past too, practicing affirmations is another thing. Instead of saying to yourself that you can't do something, tell yourself that you can. No, it's not even that. It's I am. Affirmations are stated in the current. I am a entrepreneur. I am a proud business owner. I am a strong woman. I am a strong man. I am is so important when it comes to daily affirmations. Put yourself in that space. Manifest that to happen. Have the belief. Remove the limiting belief and have the belief that you can step into that space that you know is yours and own it. Take control of that. Because what we want in life, we have to work for. It's absolutely work. It's absolutely pulling up those coveralls and those boots and looking like work and putting in for yourself. A lot of us, we go to work every single day and we do 8 hours of time for somebody else to make to pad their pocket with money and to put a little bit in our pocket. And we give ourselves every day. We give ourselves to our children. We give ourselves to our spouses. We give ourselves to our jobs. We even give ourselves to our friends. When do we give to ourselves? When do we give to us? When is it time to remove that limiting belief that you're not worthy of having the things that you want and saying, I am worthy of everything that it is that I want. I'm worthy of wanting to change my job. I'm worthy of wanting to be better loved. I'm worthy of whatever it is that is in your heart space that you want. You have to cultivate that and change those limiting beliefs so that you can embrace those things that you know that you want. And ultimately, I'm going to tell you now, you are absolutely worth having. Everything that you want is worth having. It's overcoming those limiting beliefs for your spiritual expansion or your life expansion or your heart expansion or your just your self-ease, right? Um so I say when it comes to trying to break those things down, not just journaling, but also finding yourself a good therapist or a good spiritual coach like myself, somebody who can help you look deeper within yourself and find those things that are the seeds of doubt, pull those beliefs, those limiting beliefs out of you and plant the seeds of positivity. Plant the seeds that are going to percolate to the top that you are worth it 1000%. You don't have to be forgiven for anything to start your healing journey. You were forgiven at birth. Everything that you've gone through and that you do within this life was already forgiven before you came here. You signed your contract and made your agreement to come here, and you made the agreement to go through the things that you're going to go through. And I know there's people. I was one of them in the very beginning. Are you crazy? Why would I sign a contract for any of that? But you absolutely did. And the reason why is because, as I've said in the past, this life is about duality. And it's about understanding dark and light, good and bad, right and wrong, love and hate, kindness and hurt. Because where we're from, it's all light. And our masculine piece of God and our feminine piece of God, Asna, all of this knowledge that comes from us feeds them so that they understand what it's like to be within a human existence. Because all of that is light. And so when we come down here, we sign that contract to accept the dark things that are going to come, as well as the light things that will come. And we know our higher selves, the path that we're going to be on when we come here. And we try as our higher selves to give our human existence little pieces of information to guide us along the way and get us on the path that we agreed to be on while we were here. And removing those limiting beliefs and like I said, either journaling or seeking guidance from a therapist or a spiritual person, a spiritual practitioner like myself. And then observe patterns, look for the patterns and behaviors in your life that your limiting beliefs are rooted in. Examine those things. I I challenge you to just one thing, one limiting belief that you have. You don't have to start out with all of them, just one. It could be that maybe you want to leave the place that you're working, or maybe you want to apply for a higher position there, but maybe you think that you don't have what it takes. I would say I challenge you to explore that. Find out why. Look in yourself and ask, why do I think that I don't deserve to do that, or I don't deserve to be in that higher paying position, or I don't deserve to have a better job, or I don't deserve to be in a financial better place. Ask yourself those questions and start to get the answers of where those limiting beliefs come from. And then start to change them. Instead of saying, I can't do that because what do I have to bring to the table? What you need to say is, I have everything to bring to the table. I absolutely am worth that position, that job, that next step. So I challenge you to be there for yourself. Show up for yourself. Show up for yourself as often as you can. And I know sometimes it might just be every once in a while, but the more that you show up for yourself, the more you will show up. The easier it will get. And eventually, those limiting beliefs that you have sat in for so long will fall away. And you'll look back on them and think, why did I ever let that hold me back? And you'll heal. All of it comes to being a healing process in the end. Healing all the things that make us doubt ourselves and see ourselves through a clouded lens, see life through a clouded lens. So I don't know if that resonated with anyone today, but I hope it did. You can definitely leave a message here. Please click subscribe below, so then you know every time that I post new videos. Also, if you would like, you can leave comments in there if you're interested in, any spiritual assistance. I do oracle card readings, I do Reiki healings, and I can do distance Reiki healings. You don't have to live close to me. I can, do them whether you're here or you're not here, because I am a certified Reiki practitioner. Master teacher is what they call it. And I also do energy work. I can remove energies from people, places, different things like that. So if you're interested in any of the modalities that I do currently give, I definitely encourage you to leave a message below or visit my Facebook page, The Easing Spirit, and you can message me there, or you could even message me in Facebook Messenger under The Easing Spirit. But I thank everybody who watched today, and I will leave you at this time in love and light, and namaste.